I know you won't want to talk about it, but it's an area of a pitch that I know Palace fans and people would like to see more of you in that area and converting them the way you did.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I've been trying to work on, something that I think this season got a bit better, so I'm happy that I contributed, but unfortunately we didn't take away 3 points.
How do you reflect on the game? 2 open goals, you created a lot of chances. When you have created so much, does it make returning without a point or 3 points that little bit more difficult?
Yeah, definitely. It's disappointing. Like, we created some decent chances. The 2 open goals were great chances. We just have to be more clinical. I think if we score that second goal, I think we take away 3 points.
These trips away, managing Premier League and European football, how do you think the squad are managing that extra fixture and the extra travel in between games?
Now, as part of being a footballer, you want to play in these games. You want to play every day. You want to play as much as you can. So this is something we want, and we can't really complain.
4 games down now. What have you seen from your team? What is the belief like in this squad that you can go and progress in this competition?
We know in every game we'll get chances. In every game we can win the match. So we step onto the pitch knowing that we can take away 3 points from any team, but today it didn't happen.
Hard luck and all the best.
Cheers.
Well, you can see just from some of the stats from the match that it really was an entertaining game with both sides having plenty of chances. Joel Ward and Thomas Hitzelsberger watching along with me. Hearing from Tyrick Mitchell there, he summed it up, didn't he? Because Palace had their opportunities in the game, and had they just taken a couple of the gifts that Strasbourg gave them, this could have been a very different match. Yeah, definitely, and I think it's about being clinical. Tyrick Mitchell, he mentioned it there, about taking the chances when they present themselves, because the manager has always said that the team will create chances, and they've proved that in the Premier League. They've proved it in various different domestic cups, and obviously in this tournament as well. So it's just about taking those chances when they come. I think against, was it Alkmaar, they may have had 16 odd chances in the game, or something like that. So it's a frustrating night for them, obviously not to capitalise on it, but there's a lot of positives to take from that game, and they move on to the next. Coming into this one as well, Palace knew this was going to be one of their toughest tests in the competition, particularly in the league phase in terms of the opponents they have to face. But Mitchell was one of the players that did take his chance in the first half. At this stage, they were well deserving of the lead, weren't they?
They were. I think the first 10-15 minutes, Strasbourg showed what they're about. Exciting football at times to watch. A young team that's going forward, and that's what Palace anticipated. But then they calmed everything down, and they really were the better team towards the end of the first half. And I felt the Strasbourg team is really, really good to watch. But they're a bit naive, and you go into half-time, you're 1-0 down, you think maybe they adjust some things, but they didn't. They just continued that way and were rewarded. However, when you see like this, everybody knows Mateta, how well he holds the ball up, and Mitchell, it's a great finish. So this was the period of the game when you thought, Palace, they're in control of the game, and this is how it's going to go on until the end of the game. But that wasn't the case. It was the second part of the first half, but in the second half, Strasbourg came out of the traps and really put Palace under pressure. Yeah, we were talking about it, weren't we, going into the second half, how Palace could keep that momentum going, but they just couldn't quite do that. Yeah, no, I think fair plays to Strasbourg as well. They came out, they pressed, they showed their energy and their enthusiasm to get on the ball and play. I was impressed with their counter-attacks as well. I think the way in which they transitioned from their defensive third across the pitch was seamless and very quick, which doesn't allow a team even like Palace to regroup, and then it becomes a bit more like a basketball game. And then it's down to the quality and the opportunities that you get, and obviously taking those opportunities as well. I think the thing that will probably frustrate the Crystal Palace fans and the players out there the most is the fact that they were gifted a couple of chances, Crystal Palace, by the Chelsea loanee in Strasbourg's goal, Mike Penders, who was playing so risky at times. And had Crystal Palace taken at least one of these, they had 2 golden opportunities. And this is what part of their DNA is. You've got a keeper who takes a lot of risk. He helps you in the build-up because he's like the 11th outfield player. But the gamble for me at times was just too much, and Strasbourg, they were lucky that the finishing from Palace wasn't good enough. We see those opportunities here. Sarr, usually he puts them away. He unfortunately only hits the post, and it kept on like this, where you think, yeah, I get it, the keeper, get him involved, but at this point now the goal's wide open. You think, what is he doing? Again, so unfortunate here from Palace to only hit the crossbar from Wharton, and at that point you would have thought they put the game away, and unfortunately that wasn't the case.
That Wharton miss, when you see it again, how's he missed that?
And I think, for me, there's a time and place for the keeper to come into those positions. On your edge of your box, I'm not so sure about it. It gives me a little bit...
Makes you nervous, yeah, as a defender.
But when you're further up the pitch and you've got controlled, sustained kind of possession, then it can be an asset. Obviously, we're seeing a lot more now. Keepers, are more confident. They're being asked to play. They're being asked to make those difficult passes, and they're being asked to be more involved in the game. And if you do it right, it gives you that extra man.
Joel, how impressed were you with Omega for Strasbourg? Because he looked like a real handful out there.
Yeah, I think he was strong. He was willing to run in behind. You can see him here pulling off the shoulders. And I think, that's a striker's finish, pulling off the back of Maxence in between Chris as well. But you don't see many people run off the back of Danny. And I was really impressed with, the likes of Enciso, the Amiga and Mourabet on that left-hand side, which a lot of their chances came from that left-hand side as well.
Omega is going to be joining Chelsea at the end of the season. Chelsea already have an agreement in place for him to join. Just another fantastic attacker to add to Chelsea's squad at the end of the season.
Well, it's a system that works with Chelsea, Blueco, being also the owners of Strasbourg. That works. So you have young talents. If they're not ready for the Premier League yet, you send them to Strasbourg, as they're doing. Or, they see these top players in the French Ligue 1 and then they get early access to them. Omega is just the next one where they bring him in. He's got enough experience in Ligue 1 at a very good level. We've seen he's part of a very good team, and he's going to move on. And hopefully for him, he's doing great things for Chelsea next season onwards.
Let's take a look now at the decisive moment of the game, Joel, which came just after Yeremy Pino had the opportunity for Crystal Palace to front, but 20 seconds later, it's Strasbourg that take the lead, which ended up being the winner. Yeah,
and I think, these two teams were so well matched in many ways, in many areas of the pitch. You have to look at this breakaway here on the counter-attack, and this is what I was saying, the speed in which they transition. And Enciso picks up the ball here and he drives with the ball, and this is what you want from your attacking players. When there's space in front of you, go and make something happen. And obviously he's got a little bit lucky there with the handball. For me, it's a little bit harsh because I don't really know what Maxence can do there. But here he steps up, he hits a lovely free kick, and what a night for Mourabet, 19 years of age, to clinch the winner for his team. Is a special one and a night he won't forget. Yeah, his first senior goal as well, having come through the youth system at Strasbourg. It's a tap-in, but it won't matter, will it, Thomas?
No, he was so sharp. Watch all the players. Enciso, he ran the counter-attack. I thought he would be tired, but he took a great free kick. And El Mourabet, he was the first one to react. He's lucky, he can bounce off the post in any direction, but he fell onto his feet. But he was there and he put it away. It wasn't an easy one, and that's why, as he just said, he'll never forget that night.
And what a night for Liam Rosenior as well, a much-deserved victory for him. And in his managerial career, at times he was maybe unfairly overlooked in the English game, but clearly doing so well over in France.
Yeah, no, and it's great to see. I think someone of his calibre stepping into management, obviously had a great playing career as well, but to step into management and actually sometimes to come away from the spotlight in England. When you are an English, played in England, there's a lot more, media around you.
Yeah,
the spotlight's on you more. So to come away from that and go and, develop and go and put your identity on a team, which he has done in Strasbourg, is great to see. And I think, obviously, there will be a lot of eyes watching him and the progress that he makes with this team.
A thoroughly entertaining match. We've seen Strasbourg beating Crystal Palace by 2-1. Don't go anywhere yet, though, because in just a couple of minutes' time, we'll hopefully with some work to do. But Strasbourg moving up into second in the table. Let's see how Oliver Glasner reflects on that defeat for Palace. He's been talking to Liam McDevitt.
Oliver, hard luck tonight. Where was that one lost?
Pretty easy. When you're twice empty goal in front of you and you miss the goal twice, hitting the post. Should be 3-1 up, and then we have the big chance, one against the keeper, and in the next situation you are 2-1 down. So we had this too often, to be honest, this season, that we didn't decide the game when we could decide it. And of course, then even after the free kick, we were a little bit. We were not sharp enough, and at the end I think we missed 1 or 2%, and that's why we lost against a good Strasbourg team.
Separate to those chances that you missed, they're the third goal you've conceded within 50 and 55 minutes just after half-time. Is that something in this competition you need to address, starting the second half better in games?
Again, it could be straight after we scored the 1-0. I think 20 seconds later we have the big chance and could score the second. We had the same situation against Brentford in the Premier League. We missed. There we could keep the clean sheet and we won the game. And again, Strasbourg, they are very good, very quick players. We knew it. Okay, you can concede the equaliser, but then we have the next empty net goal we are missing, and then we have the next big chance, one against the keeper, we are missing. And then you lose a game, and then I think that's why we also deserve to lose today.
4 games, 2 wins, 2 losses. Have you seen from your team in those games enough for your squad to progress in this competition?
Yes, it was the second defeat. Missing many chances, was against Larnaca, missing too many chances. It's a little bit the story. We need more players who show up in scoring goals. That's what we know. But on the other side, nobody does it on purpose. But at the moment, it just happens too often. You can't always rely to keep the clean sheet because the opposition is also doing well. It would give us a little bit more time to relax in a game. If you score the third and second and third and nothing, because the pressing worked really great in these situations. But then you have to get the reward for these situations, and this is what we're missing too often.
Thanks, Oliver. Safe trip home. Cheers.
Oh, well, this was always going to be a tough match for Crystal Palace away from home at one of the other favourites in this competition to go on and win the trophy. Joel, what do you make of Oliver Glasner's assessment of it?
I can sense his frustration, obviously, with missing the chances that they had, chances to put the game to bed. But, I think Strasbourg earned the right tonight. I think coming into this game, they had only lost 1 in 9, and they continue that fine form at home, especially. So they showed a real, competitive edge to their team, and I think, like Oliver said, they deserve to win tonight on the basis that they took their chances.
Away from home in Europe, how difficult is it for the away side to gain any momentum back when the home side manages to get an equaliser like Strasbourg did?
Well, we saw that tonight, and I think in this competition, the challenge is, every team's very different leagues, different styles of football. But there has been enough respect before the game, what Oliver said about Strasbourg, so they didn't go in there thinking, we're a Premier League side, they're just a Ligue 1 side, not mid-table, but in the top third, but we're going to beat them easily. The respect was there, but it's just, we saw the surroundings, everything was perfectly set up, and that's why I think it's not something that will unsettle Palace. Oliver Glasner has been at the club long enough. This is a defeat. They'll be very disappointed, but they'll go on in the weekend and put on another good performance because there is that consistency. These things happen, and you've got to hold up your hands and say, if we had scored our chances, we'd have won. But we lost against a very good team, a young, hungry team that takes a lot of risk, and they got the reward tonight. Maybe on another night we would have won it, but so be it. Move on, and I'm sure Crystal Palace will remain to be a good team in this competition and in the Premier League.
In terms of Europe, you can see the fixtures that are to come on screen there. 2 matches left in the league phase. They're 18th in the table as things stand. Another away trip next, going to Dublin to face Shelbourne. Where do you see their chances of progressing automatically as things stand?
I think, Tyrick mentioned it in his interview. They go into every game knowing that they're going to create chances. It's about capitalising on those chances and making sure that you get you're ruthless in these games. As we saw tonight, there was opportunities to give yourself a little bit more of a cushion and more of a comfortable game. That didn't happen, and ultimately you pay the price. So I think going into these next couple of games, it's about kind of, capitalising on the chances that they create, because Palace throughout the Premier League, throughout this competition, are creating a lot of chances and have got a high XG as well.
Important to get a win in the Premier League at the weekend then, which will be live on TNT Sports on Sunday, a midday kickoff against Manchester United, who suffered defeat in their last Premier League game against Everton on Monday night. Who goes into that match as the favourites?
I think there's always pressure on Man United, and that's why with Oliver, he's proven that he's not afraid facing those big teams, big names. And now Manchester United, they've been going through difficult times for a long time now. But overall, that's what I think, I remember speaking to him, that was before the cup final against Man City, and you could tell he knows exactly what's going to happen. He knows where the opportunities will be. So these challenges are some that he loves approaching, and that's why I'm not in any doubt that he will go in this game thinking, I've got a plan, I know how to win.
All right, let's get some Strasbourg reaction now. Ben Chilwell is with Liam.
Ben, congratulations. I know you spent a lot of time with the fans there. Big cheers when you came in. I'm guessing you enjoyed that one.
Loved it, yeah. I think to go 1-0 down and then show the fight that we showed to get ourselves back into the game, and then to go on and get a winner. It's brilliant for the fans as well. The fans were top tonight. I think the fans have got to take a lot of credit for bringing us back into the game, and that's why after the game we showed our support for the fans, because they were brilliant tonight, and great attitude from the boys, and brilliant from the fans. So a top night all round.
A word on your manager. He's someone who said he wants you to play as if you're kids again. I know compared to the rest, you're not a kid, but a young team. How has he brought the best out in you and this group?
He pushes us every day. He's a very ambitious manager. He's made it clear since the day that I've got here, in numerous meetings, what he thinks that this group can achieve, trophies, is what he wants. So we know that, and it's a very ambitious group. Like you said, I'm one of the more senior players, even at 28, so I feel like I've got a responsibility to help push the group as well, and I'm doing that. And with such a young but energetic group that want to do well. You can see today in the pitch, everyone wants to get on the ball, everyone wants to run for each other, and it shows. It shows when we play. We play for each other, and we play for the manager. And tonight showed that.
Ben, on England, a few headlines this week, but more minutes, the enjoyment you've got back, has that reignited the dream that you can get to the World Cup next summer?
For sure. It's like I said, all I can do is keep working hard every day, come in here, train well, try and play well and help the team when I play, try and play as much football as I can this season and give myself the best chance. That's all I can do. Whatever happens in the summer is, of course, up to the manager at England, and all I can do is keep working hard here, and we see where it ends up.
Appreciate it. Well done, mate. Nice one.
Nice to see him playing with a smile on his face again, isn't it, Joel? You obviously spent some time with him when he was on loan at Crystal Palace. How good is it to see him getting the minutes over there in Ligue and just playing with that smile on his face again?
I think you can see it from that interview there. He seems excited to be back on the pitch and playing regular football and being able to help out a team. I think, for no fault of his own, found himself in obviously a difficult situation at Chelsea, and now he's gone away from there, back playing, back in the frame, and puts himself in contention for potentially an England call-up.
Well, yeah, he's not played for England since March 2024, and that left-back spot seems to be up for grabs still. What do you think?
Absolutely, but also the experience abroad. I mean, I went through this myself. It can really have such a positive impact, and I think Thomas Tuchel knows that as well. You have this player; he's not even that old, 28. He goes to France, playing in a good side. The experience he's going through now could shape him, could help him to play a vital role in the World Cup in the summer. And the way you describe him, you can only hope that he gets in there.
I'm sure there'll be some Crystal Palace fans watching as well, saying Tyrick Mitchell's also not out of the question for
Absolutely.
that spot too. All right. Let's tell you what else you can look forward to tonight, because the highlight show is...
Welcome back to SportLab. Crystal Palace's push for a top 8 Conference League finish has taken a heavy blow, as Strasbourg came from behind to claim a stunning 2-1 win at the Stade de la Mine. A night of missed chances, late drama, and a teenage hero. Let's break it all down. First half, Palace strike early through Mitchell. Crystal Palace got the perfect start, and it was all down to Jean-Philippe Mateta. The big French striker controlled a long ball brilliantly, shrugged off his markers, and slipped a clever disguised pass through to Tyrick Mitchell. The left back still had plenty to do, but from a tight angle he drilled a low shot into the far corner. A composed finish, and Palace were flying. And just seconds later, they should have doubled their lead. Strasbourg keeper Mike Penders, on loan from Chelsea, came charging out recklessly, leaving the goal empty. The ball fell to Ismail Assar from 30 yards. He hit the inside of the post. A massive let-off, and Palace would soon regret it. Second half, Strasbourg hit back through a mega. Strasbourg came out firing after the break, sharper, quicker, more aggressive. 8 minutes into the half, they carved Palace open with a stunning team move. Intricate passing, perfect timing, and at the back post was Emmanuel Omega, the Chelsea-bound forward, tapping home for 1-1. A brilliant equaliser, and the momentum flipped instantly. Palace waste huge chances to retake the lead. The Eagles still had opportunities, and big ones. First, Adam Wharton came off the bench and, with the goal wide open after a defensive mix-up, smashed his shot off the crossbar. Moments later, Mike Penders redeemed his earlier mistake by denying Yeremy Pino with a strong save. 2 golden chances, 2 misses, and Strasbourg made them pay. The winner, Enciso's free kick, El Mourabet's rebound. With 13 minutes left, the match turned on one moment of quality. Former Brighton talent Julio Enciso stepped up for a free kick and whipped a sensational effort onto the underside of the bar. It bounced out, but 19-year-old Moroccan Samir El Mourabet reacted quicker than anyone, slamming home the rebound. 2-1 Strasbourg. The stadium erupted, and Palace had no response. Crystal Palace analysis: wastefulness punished. Oliver Glasner's side will look back on this one with frustration. They created enough to win 2 matches, but lacked composure at key moments. Mitchell scored, Sarr hit the post, Wharton hit the bar, Pino was denied, and defensively they never looked settled. The 5-game unbeaten run is over, and Palace slipped to 18th in the Conference League standings. Strasbourg analysis: fight, quality and future stars. Strasbourg showed spirit, intelligence and resilience. Omega, already signed by Chelsea, looked like a Premier League forward in waiting. Enciso's free kick was magic. El Mourabet's hunger won the match. A deserved comeback and a huge home victory. A ruthless reminder from Strasbourg: take your chances, or pay the price. Palace didn't, and Strasbourg punished them with clinical finishing and youthful energy. What did you make of the match? Should Palace have killed the game in the first half? And how bright is the future for Emmanuel Omega at Chelsea? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more football breakdowns on SportLab. And I'll see you in the next one.